Hello, everybody, and welcome to the stream scene. We have a fantastic, awesome, unique episode for you guys today, talking about OnlyFans, an emerging platform that creators are jumping on. I would love to introduce my co-host, the Hunter Wild. How's it going, Hunter? How you doing today?
Pretty dang fine. Heckin' good.
Wow.
I'm especially excited. I know, I brought it there.
Okay,
Especially excited to talk about this particular subject with these two incredible content creators themselves, Bijou and AustenMarie. If y'all wouldn't mind introducing yourselves, and I oftentimes I let the guests fight for who goes first to introduce without actually like pointing in a direction. But Bijou, let's start with you. Who are you? Why are you here?
I'm BijouDemi. I am a content, as stated, started out making Twitch content for a very long time, about 5 years, and moved on to other sex work related, non-safe for work kind of content mostly these days. Basically just, been around for a long time.
What about you, Austen?
I do everything all the time.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Like what do I not do? I have been on Twitch since 2013, I think. And a partner for however long that is. But I started drawing porn, so I was like, well, I might as well also take photos. I was already kind of taking photos all the time, so I'm like, well, yeah, we'll move into like the
Sam.
It's like a natural flow.
Same.
I've been known to take a selfie or two, and yeah, I do a little bit of everything. And OnlyFans is kind of like the main steez right now, along with making a webcomic. So
Soul on hold.
Yeah, Soul on Hold season 2 coming soon.
That's right.
Awesome.
Talented artist to boot.
Yeah, yep. I'm also on Spotify. Holla, let's go.
Check out my SoundCloud.
What don't you do?
Literally on Spotify though, like literally.
So, yeah. So starting with, I guess, like the what is OnlyFans, and how does OnlyFans work?
OnlyFans is another content creation social platform. It's unique because it is subscription based and behind a paywall. So prices, all that stuff is there's a lot of control and customization, but essentially that you make a profile, you can post videos, photos, text posts. There's a story feature similar to what Instagram has and such, and whatever that content may be, you post, but no one can see it unless they subscribe.
So the whole, all of the content is paywalled.
All of the content, all of it. You can't see any of it.
Although you can make free pages, which people are doing, and it's like a different method to go about it.
Yeah.
It's super customizable, but it's like if Twitter and Instagram had a baby.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And it's also in like normal timeline form, which is like amazing for anyone.
Yeah, it really
now.
It looks like social media. It very much
like imagine you're scrolling through a combination of Instagram and Twitter, except it's all hot people. And it's great.
Pretty much.
Truly, especially now, I'm like, yes, this is what I need to see, and it makes me so happy.
Pretty much.
So you have a lot of control over this.
Oh yeah.
The platform itself, you have a lot of control, which is one of my personal favorite things about it. It's a lot of people compare it to Patreon. I know Austen has experience with Patreon. I can't speak to that because
I don't think it's like Patreon at all.
No, I see people say that all the time, and to me, I think it's because it's a subscription-based style paywall. I think it's the only thing they have to compare it to.
That's
probably
it. Yeah.
More so than anything. But I can't speak to that because Patreon itself didn't appeal to me. And I'd always wanted to make this kind of content, and Patreon was really the only viable platform for that before. And it didn't feel like it suited me for what I wanted to do because I wanted to be able to take photos and stuff like that, but I didn't have the skill or time or know how to do real cosplay, or it was very much attached to cosplayers or really more artistic endeavors, if that makes sense, as opposed to just photographs of yourself, whatever you may be wearing. And so it felt hard to create a market or fit into that market when I was like, that's not what I want to do. That's a lot of work with potentially no payoff at all as well.
I've done both too. And like, so for a while when I first started OnlyFans, I was running both. And the difference between Patreon and OnlyFans is like Patreon is where people are, like you said, giving art. Like I do the not safe for work art on there. I was doing photo shoots on there and stuff like that. But it is very much like when you're on Patreon, I feel like people, because the bar has been set high by so many amazing creators, people expect a proper photo shoot, or they expect something that's like refined and polished. Or if you're doing art, like they don't mind sketches and like little things here and there, but they're expecting this. And also it's kind of hard to access all the content. Like you'll get an email if you're subscribed to someone, but you can't just like scroll through the content. The website's kind of janky. There's a lot of stuff they need to work out. They're not very friendly to not safe for work people on like.
That's what I've heard.
That's what I've heard too.
I've had a post taken down and it was a drawing because it had titties in it, and they were like, you can't do this. You have to do. And so I had to do like a crop of the image and then post it as a download. I'm like, this is so like it's a cartoon. It's not even like, it's not like
it's not even real.
Like,
I understand.
Like it's not even crude, you know, but okay, sure. And so it's very much like a more polished situation, whereas OnlyFans, I kind of describe it, for lack of a better term, and obviously depending on what gender you identify as, but like the girlfriend experience, where it's like, if you want to kind of see like more casual shots, although people do amazing photo shoots on there as well. And occasionally I'll toss a few nicer photos in. But like, if you want to see your favorite content creator and they're just like, hey, what up? I took this in my bedroom and like, this is the picture. It's off my cell phone. Maybe has a little edit on it, but this is it. This is the content that like I would send to my partner. So like, this is the girlfriend experience basically.
Yeah, I would agree with that a lot, because that's definitely how I've handled content that I've created on the platform as well. And don't have a partner. Very much, I have also described it as like, not even a partner, but like someone, if I was like flirting with someone or getting to know someone, the kinds of flirty kind of suggestive things that I'm comfortable sending to people. I don't need to trust completely. I personally do only suggestive content.
Same.
Just at this point at the time, I don't post anything I'm not comfortable getting leaked to the entire world. And I'm not in a place. I'm not in a place where I'm comfortable. Yeah, because everything I post gets leaked anyway. Curriculum, that's a whole other thing.
That's a whole,
that we'll definitely be talking about.
Thing that will need to come. But I don't post anything that I wouldn't be okay with, like my own mother being sent or something as retaliation or whatever, because that's unfortunately something you really have to consider. But so for me, that's where my content really lies. It's like the kinds of pictures I took where I felt really good, where before guy or girl to talk to. Am I back?
No, yeah, you're good. Before you what?
Okay. Before even if I didn't have like someone I was talking to in a romantic way or anything like that, like I'd send to my girlfriends to hype me up.
Right.
Yeah, there's nothing better than like the girlfriend group chat and you're like, yo, check this out. And everyone's like, yes, you've been putting
now,
it
right? But now I have other people to share that with who I know respect me and want to see it. And it's like a great almost medium. It's like a compromise where it meets the middle, where it's like this community of people that I feel safe showing that side of myself with, who want to see that side, who are very respectful of that side.
Oh, so respectful.
Yeah, that's interesting.
The most respectful people I've ever met on the internet.
What is that about?
Why are people being respectful?
I remember, right? Like as Twitch streamers, people being respectful for you existing on the internet. Wild.
I know.
I hate that that's like something that we don't know intimately as Twitch streamers, because I feel like on any platform you should know respect, but like, jump over through hoops to report someone who's harassing you. We'll put the burden on the person who's being harassed. Anyway, out of all the time that I have been on OnlyFans, which is since December, I have only gotten one dick pic unsolicited. And all I did was like ignore it, but you get a little like red scene message and it like blurs out photos that send from other people, so you don't have to click them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then that dude deleted his account.
And yeah,
Left him on red.
This is the thing is you can mute people if they send you inappropriate messages, and it's not a block. Because a block goes, do you want to block and refund this person? I'm like, hell no, I don't want to.
I want their money at least.
Yeah,
Take the
if
money.
they disrespect me, I'll keep my like $7.99, you know, or whatever. And so I was like, no, I'll just mute them. And then they immediately deleted their account, and I was like, cool, this took care of it.
That also works. Yeah.
But I can't remember who tweeted it, but there was a tweet, and they were like, mind you, I've gotten so much worse just on Instagram, just existing. Not even taking like the crazy photos on there, just being like, and someone's like, "Ooh, you like?" I'm like, "Please no, sir, put it back." But one of the best tweets I think that summed up the experience on Twitch versus OnlyFans was a girl saying, "I just twerked to anime music on OnlyFans," and everyone was like, "Yes, queen, get it. You're looking so good. I'm so proud of you." And then I streamed Kingdom Hearts in a hoodie and got called all kinds of slurs in the chat. And I'm like, yeah, that's
exactly right.
Because the thing is when people are paying for content, much like how your subscribers are usually the people who are like, yes, I'm here for you. Like there's always an outlier that's maybe a little, we all been there. But majority of the time, like your community is like, yes. So when you have people paying for content on OnlyFans or paying for content anywhere, be it art commissions, you know, whatever, if they respect the price and they respect the product, they're going to respect you, which is why it's like, don't undervalue yourself on like so many things in general.
Yeah.
But like, they're like, okay, yeah, I paid for this content. I'm not going to be an idiot and like ruin this experience for myself. So they're like, so nice. They're like, yes, you looking good. Heck yes. Let's go. Let's yell it. And I'm like, yeah, this is great. It's like
That's
the girl
awesome.
hype chat over again.
It
So
really is incredible.
Another point to the pricing and like the nature of the platform you're talking about, just by its very nature, except for the free profiles or free pages, everybody has to subscribe in order to get access to the content, right?
Correct.
Like, you have total control over the pricing.
Yeah. You can
have
price
total
it.
control over what the subscription rate
They
is.
take a 20% cut. So it's a big cut.
Of
like,
everything.
that's a huge cut. But there's like multiple different ways to buy stuff. And like you can send out pay-per-view messages.
Yeah,
so you can be like, hey, here's the bonus content. I'll start. You have the subscription page and you get access to the entire timeline. It's not just a month worth. It's the
everything
whole
you've
timeline.
ever posted and allowed to stay posted.
Yeah,
Unless you
gotcha.
take it down.
And that's it. And you can also like set posts if you're like, hey, y'all only get this post for a month or like a week or a day. You can set them to automatically expire.
Oh, that's really interesting.
It's got scheduling. Like it's one of the best social media sites I have ever used, even with its horrendous bugs.
Yeah, it's
Like,
got the most horrible support like system and everything, and it still is worlds beyond anything I've ever used. I keep making jokes about if someone who knew what they were doing picked the platform up, it would take over the entire world.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Absolutely.
It is this successful despite itself. It's very similar. It reminds me of Twitch in the Wild West days, where it was this thing that they had created and had no concept of how it was going to blow up.
Yeah.
Did. And there was all these people who created this monstrous thing that was changing the world around them, but had no idea what to do with it. We're still feeling the growing pains now of Twitch. Like, look at all of the flack they get and all their complaints. It comes down to not knowing how to manage this business they created. And it's very similar feeling to the early days of Twitch. It's like you unknowingly created like the perfect platform. And if you actually had people in charge who were innovative and understood this well, I can't even imagine where it could go.
The customer support for OnlyFans is abysmal.
Non-existent.
I was trying to stream on OnlyFans to do art, not safe for work art.
Oh, you can stream on OnlyFans.
Yeah, you can go live on,
but it's janky. So I tried to stream and I couldn't access chat, nor could I read it. So I had someone come into because I was streaming from OBS. I had someone come into my Twitch chat to tell me what other people were saying.
A game of telephone.
So I could talk to them all. messaged them. I'm like, hey y'all, like I've been streaming for 6 years now, more, because I've been streaming when live stream was the thing back in 2011. And so I was like, hey, here are my issues. I've been doing this a lot, blah, 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 expecting I'd, get a tech person to reply to me because it's about tech. And Nicole at OnlyFans, I'm going to throw her under the bus because Nicole said,
Poor Nicole.
Nicole at OnlyFans goes, have you tried using Internet Explorer?
Oh, Nicole.
And I said,
Nicole, come on.
Nicole. And I just said, Nicole, look, I really appreciate you trying to help me out on this. I think this is awesome. But do you have someone who is well versed in tech that I could speak to, please?
Can I talk to someone who knows something?
Because I'm like, 'cause I feel like you're not reading anything I said, and you're just asking me to use a dead thing that doesn't work for anyone, that no one uses, and it should work on Chrome and it should work on Firefox. So
Slight
like,
issue.
I should talk to someone. So yeah.
Well, I mean, for example, like we talked about pay-per-view messages before, which is basically you can send a message to DMs, direct messages, and they're locked, and they have to pay to open to see it. So it's a way to basically sell extra content generally.
So it gets sent, but it's not unlocked. But people can see that there's a thing.
They can see the
text,
and they can see the caption.
Cool.
They can see how many
that.
pictures if you send out a set or something.
I really like that.
And so then it'll have a price on it, and you pay.
Oh, you cut out again.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
just that mic, girl.
I think it's the cord. I don't know.
It's either the cord or like the automatic, but if you're closer, it's fine.
I'm 6 inches away. Seriously. It's right there. It's right there. But anyway, so that's a system of mass messaging, which makes sense, where you can just write one message and say send it to everyone, and it'll send it to everyone.
Send to all subscribers, or send to the most recent 24-hour subscribers.
A common issue though that I have to this day, I posted for the first time on December 11th.
Still,
I was in the top 0.3% of people on the platform, and I'm saying this because I don't have mass messaging. It is broken.
Still,
I have to send an individual message to every individual person that is subscribed to me in order for them to receive it. I had over 1,100 subscribers at one point.
You had so many.
I was spending 8+ hours a day just sending out and then responding to messages and such. And I have contacted them. They ignored me. Has not been.
Also, keep spamming them, because now they're enabling things on people's accounts. Like, one person didn't have tipping on their post, which is another thing.
Oh, 5 or 6 people didn't have tipping for the first weeks that I knew.
Yeah, and I joined 3 days after you joined. 3 days, and I had everything, and I was like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Oh, jeez.
So it's great, but there's some serious flaws as far as that aspect of everything. Yeah. If you've got it, and there.
You cut out. You cut out a lot, but it kind of sounded like it was censoring you, which was kind of funny. Like they're like, this is censoring.
I'm so sorry.
Censoring you. They've hacked their system.
I don't know why I'm doing this all of a sudden.
Maybe your Discord settings, possibly.
Oh, yeah, that might be
it's all on automatic.
Turn off automatic. Oh, look. Hang on, I'll find it and then I'll tell you. But yeah, it's frustrating because it is one of those things where they don't. Oh no, mine's on automatic too. I'm a fucking liar. Maybe just turn off automatic. Pardon me, my
automatic never does anything well.
It's listen, but yeah. So there's a bunch of different ways you can make money on OnlyFans. The other thing is tipping on posts, and then if you have a free account, which people like Jessica Negri are doing, they because she already posts a bunch of sexy images online, right? Like she just exists as a beautiful, sexy woman on the internet. She puts in so much work. She is her and Darshell Stevens really are killing it on OnlyFans right now, for sure.
They run the world.
They're Darshell just bought a house in California, and she deserves it because of the amount of work she puts in. She does the Patreon level proper photo shoots, beautifully edited, beautifully styled, beautifully lit photo shoots, everything.
Whole
and
lot
like,
of production into it. Yeah.
oh
Yeah.
my, like the time she spends is like she deserves it. Like she automatically does, and just in the work that she puts into her own
Master
body.
of the craft.
Truly, truly. And like a great cosplayer, same with Jessica. Jessica's an amazing cosplayer, wonderful human. They deserve it. Now, Jessica has a free profile, so you can just go to it. But then she has all her special content as locked posts. So if you have a free profile, you can have stuff that you're going to post to, let's say Instagram, Twitter, wherever, anyway, because it's free. Anyone can go look at it. But then all her special stuff, much like pay-per-view, she has it just there, but instead of pay-per-view where you have to send it out every single time you want people to purchase it, she just has it on her timeline because she has a free account. Now, I've been trying to get OnlyFans to offer that for people as well, and they're like, oh, it's only for free profiles. I'm like, why? Why would you limit that? Because that would be such a good feature to have where you could just be like, hey, here's this, 10-minute video of me
that I just talked about instantly.
Exactly. And you can just be like, hey, here's this. And then you don't have to worry about sending it out. Because I have people who are like, hey, did I miss any like content while I was unsubscribed? I'm like, yeah, a lot. And it takes 7 years to send out a video on this platform to 400 people. So I'm not sending it out again. I'm so sorry. Also, I don't know what you missed. So if that was available, it would be great. But for the free profiles, it makes so much sense and it's genius. So it's like equal parts really, really innovative and then equal parts very, very frustrating because they're like, use Internet Explorer. And I'm like, Nicole,
they're so close.
Those two things do surprisingly go hand in hand, the innovation and the profound frustrations that come along with it.
They nailed it on so many things where I'm like, this is so smart. Oh my gosh. And then I try to stream and I'm like, Internet Explorer is like, it's Edge now as well. Like, come on.
Right.
Yeah.
Gosh,
so people can like comment on your pictures and stuff too. Can you see other people's comments?
Yeah, they can comment, they can like, you can reply to them.
So is there like
comments?
Is there a sense of community on OnlyFans like with your page? Like really?
Yeah. Like there's some people who are like, I'm not getting enough comments on my posts. And I'm like, people aren't listen. This isn't Instagram. Like you don't need to worry about boosting yourself on the algorithm because it's all behind a paywall.
Yeah.
But also, let's be real. People are scrolling it and they're not being like, "Oh, this is so nice. Thank you so much for posting it." They're busy.
Yeah.
I mean, that brings up an interesting question too. Like, how does discoverability work? Is it just on you?
Yeah.
Like, so we
that's
have
the other
pre-existing
issue.
footprint on other platforms that we can then, pitch it out there.
I don't think there's a way. Is there a way to browse on OnlyFans like pages and see who's on there?
Interesting.
You can search.
You can search names, but
you already have to know what you're looking for.
Yeah, you do. There's no discoverability on the platform.
And it's frustrating because Twitter has been shadow banning folks for mentioning it, as has Instagram for sure. Because like if Instagram, if you link outside of Instagram or you mention Patreon or OnlyFans, that's why you see people censor it
with the weird letters and stuff.
Yeah,
weird
put like a
letters or
hash sign for an S or stars. Yeah.
Or if you see someone like spell Patreon weirdly and like use umlauts and whatnot or whatever, that's because they're trying to because they're trying to get around this algorithm that basically shadow bans you. I know Meg Turney right now is having an issue because she's not showing up for a bunch of people because of how poorly Instagram is and how bad it's run. Because they're like, we're going to limit your content so you have to pay money for your own followers to see you, not even new followers.
I've heard about that.
It's a garbage platform now.
Instagram's about to ban me, and all I will post a image that is something that I'm selling, and I will put a censor sticker on it that literally covers like the entire image, like 90% of any of the picture that like corners of the background of my room. Yeah, and I'm getting taken down.
But if enough people report it, Instagram
for sexual content and stuff. Yeah. It doesn't matter whether it could be a black screen, but it doesn't matter because I mentioned the word OnlyFans and I have a history of mentioning that word.
So people content.
It's also not even the content. No one reviews it on Instagram. So if you get mass harassed or like
you're just done?
You're done.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then you can't contact anyone once you've like been hacked or your account goes down.
Yeah.
Some people have lost their accounts because Instagram's just like, well, too many people said this was sexual content, so we have to remove it. And I'm like, are you
people
serious?
never work in mobs. Never.
No. And it's
and on the internet,
It's similar to how Twitch is like, you've been banned for this clip, but we can't show you what it was.
But it was bad.
So-
let me tell you, if you saw it.
Yeah,
Trust
but
us.
Yes.
I mean, we
I
definitely
swear,
looked
you'd
at it.
agree. If you saw it, you'd know. Yeah.
So yeah, it's frustrating with that. So that's why it's nice at least to be like, okay, there's this new social media platform. And also in general, sex work has always pushed technology. Like the reason
Yes.
why we went with DVDs and not Laserdisc or whatever else was the option at the time was because porn was being put out on DVDs. That's why we have Blu-ray. Like that's the reason why we went that way, because it's always the pornography and the sex work comes first, and then everyone gets used to using that platform, and then the rest comes. So I have a feeling that you're going to see stuff like the OnlyFans layout and the way the coding is, especially since it's messy as hell. Like there's leaks, there's issues, there's so much. It's a hot mess. God bless them. Just please don't come murder me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like it's a hot mess, but we're gonna see this probably with other social media platforms coming out, and they are going to replace Twitter and they are going to replace Instagram if these websites don't, shape up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just how the internet is. Like, everyone will be really good on one website and then they jump ship and go to the next people who are innovating when like finally one of them kind of breaks the surface and goes above the others, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're definitely going to see that just on like a social media thing. And then everyone who like, poo-poos the sex workers are going to be using the social media site that we were all using.
Oh,
for,
I'm
like,
sure.
way longer.
Inevitably.
Using OnlyFans for content creation of any kind, it is such a genius platform.
Oh, it's so good.
Are there other types of content?
There are. There really
People using it for art. People are almost using it as like a Patreon.
Cooking is another common one.
It's
Like
great.
recipes and
Really?
videos.
Yeah.
Now, is there a restriction on the types of content? Like, is there terms of service that?
No, that's why everybody
No.
loves it. It's because it
Like-
was made intentionally to give you so much freedom.
Mm.
They're like, don't break the law, but also
Yeah.
like if you want to do a cooking stream, which I don't recommend this, but topless, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I don't
fun.
want the splatter of oil.
It's fun, but yeah, like don't
anywhere.
cook bacon. But like if you want to do that, you can do that. But also if you
Yeah.
just want to like do whatever, it's fine. It's like how Justin TV was back in the day, and it's already a
Mhm.
platform that like there was the
Interesting.
person who took advantage of social eating when it came out on here, and he was
Yeah.
doing a specific act of eating
Oh.
that isn't appropriate for
Oh.
Twitch. But he could do that over on OnlyFans, no problem, because it's already a sex site. So
Is
like,
it
let's
moderated
go.
or policed at all?
I don't think so.
It was
It's just
created.
Nicole on the Internet Explorer being
Poor
like,
Nicole.
no.
Just like pecking the keyboard one key at a
The
time.
two
Well,
finger
Nicole,
technique.
it's not plugged
Yeah.
in. Nicole. Bijou, you okay?
Yeah, sorry. I was looking it up because
Oh, okay.
OnlyFans is created by people who were in the sex industry.
Yeah.
And was created specifically not to be censored or restrictive in that way, which is why it is known so heavily and exclusively as a platform for not safe for work or
Mhm.
sexual content, because it is the only place that you can go where you are fully supported in that manner.
Which
that
is
was
great.
that was the idea behind it.
Mhm.
And they're good. They like check ages and stuff for accounts. Like if you're gonna post content, they make sure they check
Yeah, you
your
have to send
driver's
ID
license or passport.
stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure
Yeah.
that's legally required.
Oh.
Yeah, and so it's great, but it's like wonderful that they do that because like so many websites could not, and then you get into a whole hot mess and everyone's in trouble. So I appreciate
Yeah.
that like they cover their bases at
Right.
least.
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so like all of that is monitored. It's like it's equal parts great and maybe not equal parts bad because like ultimately it's still kind of better than it is bad.
Yeah,
It's just
definitely outweighs the bad.
the bad things are just loud.
Yeah. I
Oh.
can understand that, especially like as you rely on it for your income. And I actually want to ask, like, how has OnlyFans changed like the way you do content? Like, is it like the biggest part of your income now, or does it just supplement you a little bit? Like, how is that for you guys? What was
By
that?
far.
You want to go, Bish? How it's changed your life?
It is, yes, it is by far. And my previous career on Twitch doesn't even come close to touching the success I had on this platform within the matter of days. If you I was also someone who was in a very, very unique position, though. As we've talked about, there is no discoverability on the website. So you have to have a platform and a presence in order to find success on
Elsewhere.
there.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you can start from scratch, but that's going to be hard. I can't even imagine how people go about building themselves on
You'd have to be a master of
OnlyFans.
discoverability on the other platforms already,
Yeah,
in which
yeah.
case you already have a...
Yeah, exactly. You really need an established presence somewhere else. And you cannot be in the position where being associated with OnlyFans, even if you didn't want to do safe for work stuff, even if you wanted to make safe for work content, whether there is the potential for that to affect your livelihood and your reputation in ways that could hurt you.
People do have a perception about the platform, like even if you do safe content.
And if you do non-safe content like we do, as we know, the industry is not friendly to that. It's not friendly to women in the best of circumstances. So the reality is you don't have the freedom to just try this if you want to, because you will absolutely burn countless bridges by doing so, whether or not that is fair or right. That's the reality. And I'm someone who was very in a unique position of I never had sponsors. I never had paid anything. I never had... I had I had the occasional, deal with, I get a microphone or a headset, and I have 2 sponsored streams ever, I think, since started streaming in 2014, 2013. I was a brand risk. I know for a long time I've been considered a brand risk. People won't work with me because I liked to post this kind of stuff on my own just for fun. I already had embraced that side of myself. Did not censor it. That, along with not censoring certain political and just myself in general, made me someone people didn't want to work with. And I was very aware of that. And it was very annoying. And it made Twitch incredibly, incredibly hard as a career. And I don't know how I managed to do that full time as my only income for so long. So when I realized, I had one friend who is in Twitch, does Twitch streaming very on the side, not full time, blah, blah, blah. She started doing this, and I saw the success she was having, and I was like, wow. And I knew that it wasn't like she had some crazy reach on some other platform that was translating in a way that I would have expected. I was like, wow, that's a lot of growth really fast on OnlyFans. That's crazy. And I did 1 day's worth of research. I subbed to a bunch of girls. I have a lot of girls in the cam world industry and stuff. There's a lot of overlap with female streamers and streamers in general, but there's a kind of solidarity with female content creators on both sides of porn and non-porn, non-sex work, because we all deal with similar harassment, no matter
we're that
content. Yeah, we literally are. That's always how I felt about it. So I finally just went in and I subbed to all their profiles. I looked over all of them, and I was like, I have no my risk evaluation was strictly social and how people in the industry and their opinions would affect me, but it did not have any financial effect on my life. And I recognized it. And I was like, okay, so my thing I have to decide is if I'm willing to just do this and take the consequences of whatever people I thought were better than that, or thought liked me, who, or thought were okay with sex work and aren't blah, blah, blah. And I decided to make that leap, and it was the best decision maybe I've ever made outside of streaming in the first place, but probably a better decision than even that. And it absolutely has burned bridges in certain ways with certain people, and that's always going to be the case. But I had unknowingly, all the things that had made my Twitch career so hard had been unknowingly putting me in the perfect position for OnlyFans for years. Literally. And OnlyFans now, the content, making the content itself, the workload plummeted because, one, it's offline content. So it's completely different than streaming, having to show face, any of that. You don't have to do any of it live. I've never done. I don't plan on doing live streams and such on the platform, at least anytime soon.
Oh, it's so exhausting.
It's
streaming is tiring.
Just live interaction. I would much rather do photo, pre-recorded, anything like that. And the reality is, I did the hardest work already, and I just didn't know I was doing it.
I grew your name,
I
your
grew
brand.
a platform and my brand, not realizing I had catered it almost perfectly to this platform that I didn't even. was kind of like falling into Twitch when I was in college, and only in college because I was lucky enough to have parents who'd set aside money for it, and I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I wasn't good at anything, and I didn't like anything, and I was just terrified, hating everything. And then someone showed me that I could stream video games on the internet, and then all of a sudden I made enough money off of it to feed myself. I felt very sad. Like I had no idea that I was pushing myself in this direction the whole time. And so, but it also, I think, sends this kind of message of this instant success story kind of look that I've always I've always wanted to clarify when people, because I can tell how that looks, but the reality is the behind the scenes work I didn't even know I was doing. Like it looks overnight, but it is one of those things where overnight successes are almost ever. I have described it to people as the stars aligned and I happened to. And that's
okay, you cut out a lot on the most important part.
Oh, no. You're like, the stars aligned and and that's why no one else is allowed to have success.
But we gotta keep that for us.
The stars aligned and I happened to notice.
I hate to do this, but I'll be right back.
Okay, bye, Hunter. Hunter's starting his OnlyFans, right?
Yeah. He's like, I gotta get on this. The stars are aligned.
Like, you covered so much, Bijou, that like,
and you're in a very similar position. Yeah,
exactly the same. Where I was just like, I started streaming out of the fact that like my partner I was dating at the time got fired from his job in like a really shady way. He was going from making like tens of thousands of dollars a month, and like obviously I'm in a place of privilege where I'm living with someone who's paying the bills. And so I picked up streaming, and he picked up streaming because I'm like, well, we might as well just do it and see what we can do, because now we both need to be the breadwinners. And then, that's how I got started with it. But I was already a full-time artist. I started full-time artist, like commission work, when I was 16. And then when I was 19, I became a full-time freelancer, like fully freelance. So I've been freelance for 10 years. So when this platform showed up, I was like, I don't know. I was already doing like kind of, I was doing drawn, not safe for work stuff on Patreon, which I still do. And it's just something I enjoy. Drawing porn is great. And then, it's so much fun. It's so much fun.
It sounds like fun.
And then I saw Bijou specifically. I like messaged her. I'm like, how is it? And she's like, it's great. I'm like, okay, you know what? I just turned 29. It's the last year of my 20s. Let's do it. Like, this is going to be like one of the times that I can like celebrate my body and feel good about things, and like just like not live in shame of like liking how I look. And it has changed my life, not only financially, completely changed my life. But like I carry myself so much higher now. I feel good. I feel like really like, I don't know. I just feel like really respected for the work that I'm putting in. And again, I'm putting in less work, but I have also put in so much work before with Twitch and Instagram and everything else. And I have built up my platforms. Like Twitch, I was at like 50,000 followers. Instagram, I'm at like 22 point something. Twitter, I'm in the 30s.
Yeah, and our platforms were very similar.
They're big. And then like my comic is at like 200,000, so like I'm doing a little bit of everything, and I've always done a little bit of everything. So this really played to my life of like, I have the time to do this. It's not going to take up a big chunk of my time. It's not going to be 7 hours sitting in front of a screen, just talking, losing my voice, doing emotional labor, making like $6. Like I loved Twitch. I love what it did. It drained me. I forgot what days were. I just like didn't have a life anymore. And so now doing jobs outside of Twitch, I can come back to Twitch and do it as like a fun thing for an hour or two, and then I can just leave. I can enjoy video games now. I remember the days now. Like I realized the last 5 years when I was streaming full time, I don't remember them. Yeah, I truly don't.
Yep, that's a mood and a half.
Yeah.
And I was also.
I mean, I still don't, but I understand. Yeah, I understand.
2018, 2019, I didn't even know the years were passing.
Exactly. That's the thing, is like you just lose yourself completely to doing this, and then you think about it, and you're like, okay, like OnlyFans is taking a big cut, but like, okay, I'm giving half, if not like around that, of my income for doing so much work, and half of it is disappearing. So I have to think of other ways. Yeah,
like the 20% never even felt that big to me, because I was so used to
so used to that Twitch.
Twitch taking literally half. He has always taken half of
He's
everything
hurting
I
though.
make.
He needs it.
Yeah.
But like that's the thing is, so it's stuff like that where it's work smarter, not harder. But then again, I have people like friends of my partner who are like, oh, Austen has an OnlyFans. I think I'm gonna start one because like it seems really good. And it's like, honey, you have a private Instagram and 12 followers. No one's gonna follow your OnlyFans.
Is OnlyFans the new podcast?
Middle-aged guys in their mid-30s are starting the podcast about their opinions on OnlyFans. They're making so much women, NBs, and men who are like taking on this whole OnlyFans thing are making so much more money and have way more eyes on them than the content that the podcasts are making.
The sexist men, especially comes from men who carry over this idea of, I wish I was a girl so I could have an OnlyFans.
It's like, no, you're still realize, so no one would actually like it. Also,
you realize gay men are a huge market.
Yeah.
Huge.
Is there a male presence on OnlyFans?
About that gay, straight, all the way across.
You just won't see it on the crossover as much between our communities, but if you're going from strictly the sex work communities, I see as many men.
If not gay, more. Straight, whatever. And
I saw one.
Yeah, and non-binary as well.
And non-binary as well.
The NBs are killing it on just like, yeah, let's go. Cause like you apply to a lot of different tastes, you know?
Yeah.
But the thing is like, my friend, her boyfriend even was like, should I make an OnlyFans? He's like a buff straight dude. Mm-hmm. And he posted a picture on his Instagram of just a little mirror shot of his like, just bulby butt. God bless, that boy does his squats. And everyone was like, yes, start it. And it's like, yeah, because like I know some straight dudes have this like dumb issue of like, I don't want gay guys looking at me. And it's like, look, women have to deal with you staring at us all the time, no matter like if we want it or not. Like literally that's our entire lives since we're like 12 years old, if not younger. So like if you can get paid because men on the internet find you attractive, hi, we're already doing that and it's great.
Yeah.
And all you do is complain about how much you wish you could be that woman that all those men are simping over.
That's a lot. Yeah,
and it's like, then you take their simp bucks, bro. Then you keep
exactly. Yeah. And here's the thing is like every body type is attractive to someone. Like you don't have to
also
be
true.
Like you don't have to be this like super
attractive thing. Yeah.
Like especially with men. Are you a tall, hairy man of a heavier stature? Congratulations, you're a bear, and they're into that.
There's a name for you.
You're a bear, you're an otter, or you're a cub. Let's go, let's party. But like, there's something for everyone. Is there what?
Is this Animal Crossing?
It's Animal Crossing for adults.
It's crossover like that.
But seriously, like it is one again, like that goes back to me feeling better about myself because like I am really muscular. I'm tall. I am not petite whatsoever. I'm like more on the curvy, thick side. I've got like lats. I've got guns. Like there's a lot going on here, right? But I take these photos and I'm like, I feel so good.
Yeah.
I feel great. And also like you learn your angles, you know, you do whatever. I don't even put on makeup. I'm just like, click, what's up? And they're like, wow, you're so beautiful. I'm like, thank you, OnlyFans.
Yeah. I mean, so speaking of both that and men on OnlyFans, I talked to a friend of mine who is a man and runs an OnlyFans.
Yeah.
And he said, quote, even as a dude, it's been liberating. I feel better about my body. I feel more attractive. And I finally feel like I'm worth something physically, which is a lot more than I could have said a year ago. And he's a big guy. And he loves showing it off. I'm far more open with people too in general, which is a nice development overall. It's been fantastic, among other things that he shared with me. This is really intriguing.
That's fantastic.
It makes me so happy because I feel regardless of your gender, we have either been like told that we have to be petite, big boobs, huge ass, no, like completely flat stomach, look a certain way, or be like this hyper masculine, you know, toxic idea of what y'all think you should look like. And it's like, no, like it always takes me back to of like how different we perceive things where, everyone's like, there's like the men's magazine and it shows Hugh Jackman and he's just like crazy ripped, like veins everywhere,
And dehydrated with
like just grotesquely muscular.
Yeah.
And then there's him on like the women's magazine and he's in like a nice sweater and he's posing and I'm like, oh wow, you know. So like that's the thing is like everyone wants something different, and if you want to be grotesquely muscular, there
actually works.
there is a market for that. There absolutely is. Like obviously there's going to be a market for people who fit the cultural ideal, but again, it is a cultural ideal. So like I have friends who are on OnlyFans and they're like fat women, super curvy women, super skinny women. It doesn't matter, NBs, whatever, because they're just like, I feel good. And I think the thing is that sexiness comes from when someone is feeling sexy and is putting that out there. So even if I'm not wearing makeup, if I am posing and feeling good, that is going to come off inherently more sexy than if I am in full makeup in like a string bikini and I'm feeling awkward about myself.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's why like you tend to get hit on more when you're in comfortable clothes or like you look like you just don't care. Like I get hit on so much more when I have no makeup and I'm in like schlubby clothes and I go out and people are like, hey, what's up? But if I'm like all dressed up, people are like, I hate
that because I know exactly what you mean.
That's it's crazy. Like, why are you hitting on me? I'm like I'm literally wearing a potato sack right now. Leave me alone. Like so like I don't get attention. And now I just put on makeup so people leave me alone. I'm like a poisonous draw attention. I'm like, get away.
There you go.
So we're going to have a lot of people that are watching or listening that are interested in starting an OnlyFans. What advice would you give to people who want to get started, especially those who may not have a large following elsewhere?
I mean, I'm gonna start on this one just to like add with what Bijou said of like only do it if you are ready to like be like have this you know permanent mark on your record. But also like with anything that you are getting into, don't go in with like that I'm gonna be, because I'm gonna use Twitch as an example. Obviously we're on Twitch, but don't go in with that Twitch example of like I'm gonna blow up if I just grind it out, I'm gonna do it. Like no, you're not. And this is with any online content. Some people are going to make it and kick butt at it and like be amazing and just blow up overnight, and some people aren't. And that's with any kind of content. So like it's just like if you're grinding to get partner or whatever, it might not ever happen, and you just have to be okay with it. And the only way to be fully okay with this and not set up this like weird expectation for yourself is do it for you and do it for your enjoyment. So if you already like taking like a little bit of scandalous photos, then hell yeah, do it. But if you like don't know, maybe take some photos for yourself, test them out, see how you like them.
Or a trustworthy friend.
Yeah, send them to some friends. But also like if you're not willing to post this content, let's say to your Twitter, to your Instagram, to whatever, obviously Instagram's a little not lenient with that. Yeah. But like everything I take, I'm like, am I okay? And you said this too, Beach, but like, am I okay with this being posted somewhere that like my dad can see? Obviously, I would like my father not to see any content, just in general. Like he wouldn't watch my Twitch streams anyway. He's like, "Wear too much." I'm like, "Okay, Dad," but like he's cool with it. Like I'm like, "Oh yeah, I take sell them on the internet," and he's like, "If that's what makes you money," I'm like, "Thanks." but like it's one of those things where like you got to be like, okay, if this is posted everywhere, am I cool with it? And I find that the more I do this, the more I'm like okay with more and more. So I'm like,
that's where you'll start to see your boundaries come out.
Yeah, and I'm like,
I think the biggest part of that too also is don't push yourself out of that comfort zone with the expectation that there will be a monetary benefit that will make it worth it.
Yeah.
Biggest
because no money is worth losing.
Yeah, and there's potential that you won't make a cent. Yeah. So go off of that mentality, because you cannot be like, you know what, this makes me uncomfortable, but I could make this much money off of it, so it'll be worth it.
No.
And then it's not
the same as grinding on Twitch.
And I get it, because I felt I had that feeling. Definitely. It was like, and people will tell you too, you'd make so much more money if you did this, if you posted more of that, if you showed your
Oh, really?
blank.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, you think so?
And like, as obvious as it may be, and that voice can get in your head too, and it definitely. But it's not worth it. And go slow. Don't throw yourself into the deep end if you're unsure. that's natural too. It's normal to be nervous. Like, as I said before, I was in pretty much the perfect position with very little to lose. The first week, I had 2 panic attacks the first week of like, oh my God, what if I ruined my life? And it was completely irrational. And it was from this internalized thought process that has been pushed on me my whole life of sex work is bad. And it took something away from who I am as a person to lower myself to that. And even though that's not reflected by my parents, who my dad is so jealous, and I think if he had the technological know-how would make an OnlyFans behind our back.
Probably do well too. They
He
love
would.
the older
He
men
would.
too.
Seriously, he's a 76-year-old man. Every time he asks me about how he's going,
Market.
no, literally, he
So
goes,
how well do gray beards work on OnlyFans?
he literally comes up to me.
Hunter, you would do
I'm over
so
for
well.
dinner.
Somebody else's dad.
I
Hunter,
mean,
you would do so well, and I'm serious about this, Hunter. If you want to set up an OnlyFans, we can like do a private chat, and can set you one. Because like that's
a definite selling point.
Again, like if you do get to the point where like you can do it as a job, it is obviously viable, but it is going to change. Like, this is technically the worst month that I've had, but we're also in the middle of a pandemic, so like, to be expected when your money relies on other people paying you money. Like, that's why it's good to have, you know, a lot of different eggs in different baskets, so that when one starts acting up, and I've been like that since I was 19, because I'm like, freelance life is terrifying. But it is one of those things where if you are like really sure of yourself and you know that you're not going to get like a teaching job or, you know, social work, like something with kids and whatnot, like obviously they're going to have issues if you do any kind of sex work. So you need to just be wary of that and think about your future. And also, like, if you're going to take this plunge, it is a Band-Aid that once you rip it off, you cannot put it back on. And that's it. But also, you're going to have a tough skin. You're going to have to deal with people who are going to say really dumb things. But also, if you've been on Twitch for any amount of time, you've already dealt with people. Yeah, you've already dealt with people saying really dumb things.
It's definitely hard too. And I can say the people being nasty about my OnlyFans, which doesn't come from people who support my OnlyFans, but never see the leaked content.
Right.
Hard. And I don't deal with it well. I'm actually looking into hiring management strictly to deal with leaks and with interacting with customers.
Thoughts on this?
In certain aspects to cut down on that, because like content leaks is huge, horrific. Pretty sure everything I've ever posted is out on the internet somewhere, and I get texted out all the time and messages and blah blah blah. And I know that it's detrimental and I need to deal with it, but that means going to all these Reddit threads and all these pictures. And
too much.
No matter how much I may try, the comments are right there. And the first time I only did it once, where I sent in like 15 reports, and I haven't since. And I've just been letting things leak because I was so brought down by just the disgusting, horrible
100%.
things that were being said on there. I don't have the backbone for that. I don't have tough enough skin for that.
I don't think anyone does.
Nobody really should.
We're not.
No, you shouldn't have to. But I
have that much.
No.
Some of this stuff can also like trigger certain things within me as well, and I think it's worth noting as well, as much as OnlyFans can make you feel really good about yourself, when you're feeling really bad about yourself, it's a very difficult career. I'm experiencing that this month for the first time, which has coincided with the pandemic, which I honestly kind of helps more than anything, because everybody's off their game and blah blah blah. And it's a weird time to be making this content and pushing it and advertising when the world is in chaos and blah blah blah. But I have horrible confidence issues, horrible body issues, all this stuff to this day, always will. And that's something that a lot of people either assume doesn't even occur to them that that's the case, or think that I'm making that up as a ploy or blah 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 blah. But it's true, and it's insane to me that I could have so much success on a platform built around showing my body while also having such little confidence in my body at the same time. So it can be a double-edged sword. It can make me feel so good about myself, but then when you really aren't, it can become really prohibitive making content. I'm definitely right now, and I'm sure that has happened with other people as well. And I'm sure it's goes both ways.
Right.
It's one of those,
I mean, it's also added pressure because now you're making that content as your job, right? It's like that's your income to produce that content. If you don't feel good about doing it, then you can't do it, right? But you feel like you have to.
Like streaming is hard. We all know that streaming is so hard when you're not yourself.
Oh yeah,
stuff like that on
having
your
to be
bad
performative.
days. Yeah.
Oh. Well, it's also
So,
if people are saying bad
very
things, you
similar.
already have a sore spot. Like it's gonna hurt more if someone pokes it.
Right.
Yeah.
But like we're not designed as humans on any kind of work to have this mass amount of like internet people just like dunking on you because they think you're just like a random person. But
Yeah.
like if you had a friend say something nasty to you, you're gonna deal with it for like however long. It's gonna be a big deal. And that's one person, right?
Yeah.
So if you have a massive group of people doing stuff, which obviously there is, because if it's women or people of color or queers or whatever, if they are making money, there is going to be a group predominantly of very angry men and a few very misogynistic women who are like just nasty about it because they just don't like it, right?
Yeah.
And so that's like the thing with leaks where no matter what, stuff is going to get leaked. And I have this whole thing where I'm in a few group chats or groups with OnlyFans people, and they are spending all of their time not making content, stressing out, being upset, all this other stuff, because that's valid. It's like, hey, I made this content. This is gross. This is a violation. This sucks. It is like a whack-a-mole game. Anytime you knock one down, there's going to be another one that pops up. So my mentality behind it is that like, yeah, you can hire teams, you can do that, but you can also just keep making new content because the people who are looking at your leaked content are never going to pay for it anyway.
Fair,
and if they are, if someone is seeing it and they're like, it's the people who, if you don't pay for porn, you're probably never going to pay for porn. And you should pay for porn because it's not made to be free, honestly.
Yeah, all the free porn they brag about going to instead is almost
it's all
stolen and not not
it's
free.
all stolen. So like,
you're just not paying for it. Not paying for it doesn't mean it's free.
So there's a big disrespect, obviously, with sex work. There's a stigma, there's all that. But everyone, maybe except for like a handful of folks, everyone consumes it. Whether or not you're paying for it is a whole other thing. If you can pay for it, you know, like, or like tip your favorite actress or actor or whatever. But my point is that like you can spend all this time being upset about leaks or things getting stolen. I have dealt with this as an artist. I've had my art ripped. I've had it stolen. I've had it reposted to Chinese sites and all this other stuff and all over. So like I have known this mentality for a really long time. 10 years of being an artist online. So with OnlyFans, I'm like, of course my stuff is going to leak. But my thing is like, I'm not going to go look for it. I'm not going to find it. If someone tells me it's leaked, I'm like, don't tell me. I don't care. Because you're paying for the experience on OnlyFans is to get the interaction with me, to be able to get bonus content, all this other stuff. If you're going to leak it, whatever, like it sucks, but you've paid me. Okay, cool. I'm still going to make new content. So if people want new content, they're either going to have to wait for it to leak or they can sign up. And anyone who looks at the leaks and goes, hey, I like this person, or like, I'm attracted to this person, this is the type of content I want, my watermark is there from OnlyFans, so they can go to my site and do it.
I was going to ask, does that content get automatically watermarked? Did you do that?
Yes.
Yeah, watermarks don't do anything except
they do.
for like you
unless
can
you were to
to
take it down. Yeah.
So it's like, okay, great, like it's watermarked, but like the people who are looking at leaked stuff, one, will never respect you or pay for your content, and they're not your base. They're not your client base, so they don't deserve any of your attention. So like, cool, look at content that people already paid to look at. That's like buying a secondhand shirt and wearing it. Like, okay, cool. You just didn't get it for, when it was fresh and new and exciting. So enjoy it, I guess. And I feel like some people who ultimately keep looking at content of leaked content, they may dunk on you, they may hate on you, but they are so fascinated with you that
they're still looking.
They're probably benefiting you in the long run.
Exactly. Like they're probably going to come back around. They're like, hey, look, I was real mean to you and I said some awful things. I've grown up now. I've, cleared out my misogynistic ways, whatever. Like I've had people do that. Like, I was really terrible to you and now I really like your content. Here's money. And I'm like, okay, sure. And you just don't like, you can stress about it and let it affect you. And you can always seek out the bad things about your and the leaks. But the real thing is that you need to keep making content. You just need to keep like doing your thing and not letting it affect you, because new stuff is what everyone else is there for. And you are directing yourself to an audience, not to the people on the sidelines who are trying to pick punches, even though they can't afford your stuff anyway.
Yeah. I don't think it's really worth it for the most part, unless you come to the conclusion that for some reason there really is a monetary damage being done to your platform by the amount of leaking.
Yeah.
For me, I would consider it more so if I had content that I sold that was more explicit or something. Like girls who will sell topless photos on the side for extra money, something like that. Wanting to keep that off the internet as much as possible makes total sense to me. It still might not be worth it.
It's still gonna get leaked.
It's still gonna get leaked. It's always gonna get leaked.
So it's super. I have friends.
It's one of those things.
I have friends who are like porn stars and are dominatrix and stuff, and they're like, dude, the amount, like, first of all, they got paid pennies for clips. So OnlyFans has changed their life because they're like, I used to only get paid 40 cents per clip purchase. And I'm like, oh, you can sell that clip for like $35 per person.
Like
and they're like, what? I'm like, yeah. I mean, I know someone who sells like one photo for $300. I'm like, that will never fly with my group, but like, God bless you. You figured it out. Good for you. You found the cheat code. But like their content gets ripped so much and they're, putting things in all different crevices and spots. So like it gets to the point where you just have to be like, this is what's going to happen. And I can either let it like really, really kick my butt, or I can just be like, I just need to make new content. Cause new content is always going to be like, ooh, what is that? Ooh, I want to see that. And you're always going to get better at it. So it's always like,
pacing?
Is it what?
Is there an ideal pacing?
Yeah, or like scheduling.
Content? Yeah, like scheduling stuff out.
Do what works for you and let your audience know what you're doing. I think. So like if you set up an expectation, meet it. But if you're like, hey, I post whenever I want, you're just here, it's just tipping me, then people are gonna know what they signed up for. That's always my mentality.
Yeah.
I do daily. And then some days I just don't.
I think if anything, I think overposting can become an issue, but I think it entirely depends. I think if anything, less is more.
Yeah.
I think the assumption should be that.
Both in clothing and in posting.
Yeah. But I have seen a few people start out and start flooding with content because they get really excited. And there's nothing wrong with doing that at all.
Yeah.
Get some initial content up. Yeah.
Yeah. But there is something to be said for setting a standard as far as what you're going to be doing and knowing that you can keep up with that, whatever it is. So you don't have to post as much as you think you do.
Yeah.
You're going to feel like you need to put out a lot more. There's not as much pressure to put out content on this platform as there is on any other platform that I've been on. It's not like Twitch where it's like you be there every day, all day, they see you, or even
otherwise you get ruined.
Yeah, or even Instagram where you have to respond to all the comments and post on the right times and blah, 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 blah. It really seems to be very individual.
Or even Patreon where it's like you have to make content during certain weeks because the last week of Patreon, no one's going to sign up because they know they're going to get charged on the 1st. Whereas OnlyFans, if you sign up on the 12th, you get charged again on the 12th. If you sign up on the 24th,
it's like Twitch subscriptions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just a month. It's great.
I didn't know Patreon did that. That's
yeah.
So like people will sign up and if they do a big tier right at the end, and then it's like, oops, sorry, you got charged again on the 1st. And they're like, I just signed up. It's a mess. It's very frustrating. And then I can't do anything about it. And I'm like, I'm sorry.
There's also the issue of like people subscribing on Patreon and leaving before they're charged because they're not like there's like a processing time, and like some people they get access to the content before they're charged on the 1st, and they just leave before they're actually charged on the 1st. They get like the last month of the content.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
Patreon was worse than I even realized.
Yeah, like Patreon, it really paved the way for a lot, but again, people are jumping ship. There's a better website that like handles things a lot better and isn't weird about sex work. And, and I do want to say, I saw this just in chat where someone was like, it's nice to see this being called sex work. I agree that what I'm doing is sex work. It's not like full sexually explicit things. I'm still implied, like I take pictures of my feet and my butt and I'm like, I don't feel this is sexy at all, but other people do. So I'm like, great. I'm glad I can create that content for you. But I also find that like, if you're going to run around and tell people who do like boudoir photo shoots or cosplay stuff, that's like mildly sexy and you're calling it sex work, it's not. And I feel like there is a difference between like a really nice photo shoot with like no nudity and like it's a fine line, but like if I see someone cosplaying a sexy character and like doing a nice photo shoot with it, I'm not going to call that sex work. That's a cosplay photo shoot or a boudoir photo shoot. Like there's definitely this line, and I don't know how exactly to define it, of like where it moves into sex work. But I think where I'm like, hey, here's this video of me like in the shower filming. Like I think the more intimate, casual side of it makes it more like sex.
I think it is definitely up for. I actually talked about this. I brought this up on Twitter when I first started doing this. Do I refer to myself as a sex worker? And it was mostly just like, I don't want to co-opt a title that isn't appropriate for what I'm doing.
Right.
Stuff like that. And I did. I had a couple of people, funnily enough, I had a couple of people in the Twitch sphere go, "You're not a sex worker." And then every sex worker friend I had say, "It's up to debate, but I think yes." Yeah. So if you are making content that is designed for sexual gratification or a sexual response, then I think that mostly puts you in the sex worker category.
People will get it off to anything.
True. Yes, it's about the intent. I'm intentionally doing
the production.
Like I could post a picture of my plant
with that reason. Exactly. Because then, yes.
Those are some nice plants, to be fair. I mean,
those are some good fronds.
You know, anything can be porn, anything can be a kink, blah, 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 blah. But my intention is to elicit a response. That you are attracted to this content.
Again, and if you're calling it like the girlfriend experience, like we do, like it's like digital escort almost. You know, it's like, hey, like we're not doing, you know, digital prostitution or anything like that. Like I'm not having sex on camera or anything, but I am still like, hey, this is like what you would get if you know, dated me. And while I appreciate, like I do have rules specifically being like, hey, don't be sexually explicit to me. Like obviously we all know what we're here for, but like this isn't for you to sext me. This isn't for you to like try and like it's not a two-way street, you know, like this is a one-way situation.
Not unless you're charging for that, which plenty of girls do,
which they do, and that's I think that's great because then
people do, but
but you can have the, you know, and I feel like a lot of people on OnlyFans are really good with that. Like they're like, oh, okay, thank you for saying that in your rules, because some people are like, hey, yeah, you can sext me, but it's gonna be like $20 per message, which dope, girl, get that money. But it's very customizable. So having a set of rules is really going to help you. And that goes back to like tips for people who are starting. So I have a thing where I'm like, just don't be sexually explicit towards me. Like you can compliment me, you can cheer me on, you can do, you know, you can say a little bit, like don't say like, you know, gross. And I'll tell them if they do. I'm like, hey, that's really inappropriate, or like, hey, that's really gross. And some of them might get mad and disappear. I'm like, cool, whatever, bye. Like you have to be really like almost strict. I get like you have to be strict, for lack of a better word, with like how you let people treat you on there, again, because it is a business and this is your place of work. So if someone's making you uncomfortable, you need to really lay down the law on like, hey, don't do that.
It's important not to have the lines blurred, because you don't want people you know, crossing over.
And a lot of people also know that like I have a partner, I have a boyfriend, and they have been like, wow, Brian's super lucky. And I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, he is. But like they know that because like it's again supporting the content I create, and it's not like you're doing this to date me. Like I am not your girlfriend.
There's no sense of that on there. Which I appreciate. So funny. It's like way more the platform.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, people get really confused on Twitch with the whole streamer viewer like chatting thing.
To me.
You're literally selling and sometimes calling it the girlfriend experience, and they respect that you're not their girlfriend.
They're like, yeah, dope.
Than saying hi
subscriptions
to
and this is awesome.
A random dude in the chat on Twitch who all of a sudden you're now his bride.
He's like, you're my wife now. I tipped you $4. I tipped you,
and now I own you.
Streamer respond. Oh, you have a boyfriend? I want that $4 back.
Yeah.
It's the lack of expectation too on a platform that is so charged with expectation as far as perception that is so interesting to me too, because like Austen said, like I don't get disrespect, and the thing is, when people aren't sure if they're crossing a line, they ask.
Oh, it's so
the
great.
amount of men who have asked, hey, can I send you a dick pic? Can I talk dirty to you? can I do this?
Kings, all of them
And
kings.
I'm like, thank you for asking. I don't offer that, but I totally respect the question because it's an
Kings.
entirely valid question. And they're always just like, cool, thanks. Good
Also,
to
that
know.
should be
about boundaries
for
instead of
any-
automatically transgressing.
Yeah.
Any situation, not just OnlyFans, you should always ask before you do something. And it is the sexiest thing. Thank you very
much. But it just
much.
completely disproves this point of like, well, you should expect to be treated that way because you dress like this.
Yeah,
it's
the
like,
only
really? I'm selling a picture of my naked body and they don't expect to even get to say anything sexual about it.
Well, you're a girl on Twitch, so
Like it's insane. It disproves every
Wild.
sexist, misogynistic bullshit point.
Which also, it goes to a point someone else brought it up where they were like, do you want to set prices high or do you want to set prices low? In any kind of business, I find that if you set low, you're going to get a lot more people, but it's also lower quality people. And that's not saying that like the, people who can't afford things are low quality. It's just that if you make your product low value, you're going to get people who don't respect it. And I had the same thing with drawing commissions where when I did $20 a commission, people would treat me like trash
100%.
and try to like weed out every single little detail and waste my time. And it cost me more money in the long run because I'm like, I'm only making $20 from this. And I've had to spend 7 hours talking to this commissioner.
Yeah.
So when I tripled my prices, people are like, yeah, that sounds good. Do whatever.
Yeah, this looks
Yeah.
great.
It really does. So like you need to find that good spot of like what is good and what is not. Mine's at $14.99. That's fine. But if
Yeah.
I have a
For the
sale, it
subscription.
drops to like, $7, which
That's
is still,
what it automatically puts into. Like when you start on the platform, $14.99 is like the
and some
base
people have
suggested
more
price. You'll often see 25 or $24.99 is a very common one.
I'm sure
is
it also
great.
depends on like other things like how much content you're producing, what level of nudity or like, the level of quality of the content that you're making. I'm sure like name recognition is another thing too. Like
absolutely.
Yep.
And
There's
like
so
I
many
fully
factors.
expect to raise my prices once I like do topless content. Like that's just I know that's a fact. Like I'm like, okay, we're gonna hit 1,000 subs on there, and then I'm gonna up my prices $24 and like congratulations, now you all get what you wanted. And I'm probably gonna have a big drop off. I'm gonna have a big drop off of people, but then it'll kind of balance out then. So again, you need to be like business savvy about it and you need to figure it out. And like you are running a business, you are creating a product, you are selling stuff. Yes, your product may get resold or posted on other sites. Just focus and do your thing and like be proud of what you do and enjoy what you do because there's nothing wrong with this at all. And I cannot drive that home enough. Like anyone who like sees it as a moral issue or whatever, that's more a problem with them than it is with you because like I'm going to get sexualized no matter where I go or what I do. So I might as well get paid for it.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And be in control of it.
And be in control. Exactly. That power
And also,
element is very important.
It's made me feel so much better about myself. I'm like, yeah, let's go. Look at my butt. I got cellulite. I don't mind. Let's go. It's all good. Like it's truly been probably one of the best things that has happened. I mean, I started in December as well. So like since then it's been amazing. It's completely changed my life. So
Yeah.
and I can also like work on other projects now, like a normal human.
I've
like,
streamed once since the first time I posted on OnlyFans. I streamed on New Year's Day, and that was it. And that was my only and full-time gig since dropping out of college in order to play video games on the internet.
You were living the life.
I have always been unconventional.
I mean, that's great though. It's a smart way to be. I
it
do comics and
I'm lucky to have family that has never judged me for that and for the sex work as well. In fact, I even had my parents prompt themselves say and go out of their way to make sure I knew that if I did decide to do actually, like if I was ever in porn or explicit sex work, that they wouldn't care about that either.
Can they adopt me, please?
My dad's 76 years old, part of the silent generation, and this is what he comes up with.
God bless.
There's no excuse for your crappy grandma, guys. Okay?
Yeah.
She's just being crappy. It wasn't another time, all right?
It's true.
But no, and that's something that I also recognize is not the norm. And I even am fairly certain someone I know had to stop their OnlyFans content because of pressures from real life people.
Oh no.
Finding out, which is heartbreaking. It's awful. And that's the thing. It's one of those things.
Job.
Yeah, and you have to. It's this awful. It's very conflicting to have to be realistic and recognize that these things are going to happen and people are going to judge you, and it has the potential to have a negative effect on your life in ways it never should. But also learning not to internalize that and knowing to keep it in your mind separate and know this is wrong. It's true. So having to cater your life or your life around that, or at least be aware of that without giving it power of really controlling you, I think is a struggle. And that's kind of where the line falls. And
people are always going to have opinions though, you know? I'm
just lucky that the opinions that I get are ones I can ignore and don't have an effect on my day-to-day life. The reality is not the for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It sucks, but there's not much that you can do about that. So I can't. It's hard to give advice to a lot of people too, especially people who are in the Twitch streaming career and have been streaming primarily and maybe didn't have the history of being less brand friendly like me and Austen embraced a long time ago. And
I've only got paid by brands like twice, maybe 3 times. And even that, like, I'm still waiting on Soylent to respond to me, and they haven't responded from like 2017.
That was
after
2.5 years ago.
They did that to me too.
Email deal where they're supposed to pay me $500 a month to be like, Soylent.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then they sent me like some expired products. So like, you know, I'd rather like, that's the other thing too, is like, I have made very little money. Like the only money I've made on Twitch have been because I knew someone and they're like, hey, you're cool, we'll work with you. And that was like 2 companies. I was like, dope. Or like I've never had products sent to me except for like stuff from Intel because I already worked with them. And like one of their head honchos was like, hey, you're cool, do you want a computer? I was like, yeah, dude, I do. And I still use that computer now. Like it's great. I love it. And so I really am happy about that. But those I got because I knew the people. They didn't find my content and they weren't like, oh my gosh, your content's so good. They like found me first and then did the content. So it's like whatever, but they're like, can you like chill out on Instagram for like 2 weeks while like corporate is looking at it? And I'm like, I hate that, but yeah, because y'all are paying me a lot of money right now. But that happened like once, like legit once. And now I'm like making so much more doing what I want to do and not feeling like I have to walk on eggshells or, you know, kiss ass to a brand or spend 45 hours streaming a bad mobile game for $12. I can actually just like do what I want to do. And then when I want to stream, I can just do something I enjoy and use it.
That is a lot of ownership.
It really, and it's like, it's so worth it for me.
Yeah.
Now, if you're getting like hella paid deals from like, you know, Origin or this and that, and you're getting all these like, you know, not affiliate deals, but actual paid deals, maybe then that's something
that's definitely a consideration that you have to make.
That's the problem.
Sure.
Most people most people who have the kind of platform that would translate to this level of success on a platform like OnlyFans don't have a career like Austen and I did, where we pretty much were self-sustained, self-fueled. It's almost impossible to make a living in this industry without sponsorships and relationships.
It's so hard. And yeah, you and I are very lucky.
So we are very rare in that respect, and that was a huge reason why we were able to do this, because we were not cutting ties or burning bridges with people who pay our paychecks. The reality is, a lot of the girls, and I just say girls because it's mostly women, but say they're really curious, they want to do this, it looks really fun. They've always been really interested in that kind of content, but the reality is they haven't included it in their brand thus forth, and they have established a brand that isn't friendly to that, and you are at a high risk. I can't give you advice on that, because it for me, to me, it sounds like it's not an option. I don't know. It's an unfortunate thing. So the crossover on this industry is not going to be with really, really established streamers, because they're already making not going to do it. They're already making money.
They're fine.
And if they're making enough where it's sustaining them, but they'd be happier making OnlyFans content, it's not enough for them to sacrifice their income in order to do that. Or they're making so much money that the brand, they could get away with it if they wanted to, because the brand's not going to lose them. But why the hell?
There's that like fine line.
Why would they put themselves through the social part of that if they
for sure
hundreds of thousands or whatever they're making already? So it's a very unique scenario. And I hope that changes over
Yeah.
time.
I mean, I
But
definitely know. I've talked to people who, when like OnlyFans, especially like your guys' stories, like, there was definitely some streamers that I talked to that were like considering it, what you're saying rings true. Like there is a decision to be made. Like, yeah, like it sucks. It's unfortunate, but there are repercussions to making these choices. But at the same time, like you said, it can be a life-changing decision. So unfortunately, that is all the time that we have for today because we have another show coming on in just a few minutes. Your Brand, Your Business is doing a show on taxes. So that is going to start right after the show ends. So don't go anywhere, chat. But first,
there are some interesting developments
Seriously,
on
watch
the
that.
tax in the tax.
yeah, there's a lot of
You guys need
changes.
that. I'm going to watch that.
But first, let's do some shout out. Bijou, starting with you. First of all, thank you both for joining us. You literally made me and Hunter not have to do anything today because we just listened to your stories. Like,
We just talk.
it was so fascinating.
much.
Like, it's so easy.
We're the same. We have the same hair color most times. It's a whole.
I know, right? We went from green and now we're here.
But let's do
Look
some
at us
shout
now.
outs. Bijou, where can we find you and what are you up to?
You can find me on twitter.com/notBijouDemi or BijouDemi on Twitch. Although I do plan on starting streaming again soon. I have been on hiatus, so might not be anything too exciting there right now. But I'm on Twitter all the time, and I never stop talking. So if you enjoy listening to me talk, that's a good place to look.
I will say it is impressive that you've grown your Twitter several times over. I think this is like your third time. Like,
Repeatedly.
Well, the
I
funny
get like the
thing
DM
is-
being like, "Hey, it's
Yeah.
me. My account got deleted again." I'm like, "Okay, I just want to check that it's really you."
Yeah, not BijouDemi is me. The old Twitter account is gone. RIP. But yes, and I'll be making content and hopefully jumping back into the streaming side of things soon and just running my mouth as per usual.
Yeah, girl. I am AustenMarie on every single platform except for Twitter, which I am AustenMarie TV.
Yeah.
So you can find me all over except for Twitter. If you go to AustenMarie on Twitter, it is some chick in Colorado who keeps using Foursquare to check into places. And she's like a duchess, so like show her some respect. That being said, when I am not yelling at Nicole at OnlyFans, I am on Webtoon. My webcomic, the first season is completely up, free to read. It's called Soul on Hold. It is not safe for work content. If you want that, there's other spots where my name is AustenMarie.
Yes.
But yeah, the comic is on
Very
there.
good
You can
comic.
subscribe.
It is awesome.
Thank you. It's on Webtoons. I highly recommend getting the app for it. I'm currently working on season 2 starting today after this interview.
Awesome.
And I'm also on Spotify, AustenMarie. Go listen to my EP. I'm working on an album this year. There'll be a Kickstarter once the pandemic is over.
Ooh.
So yeah, I'm very excited about that too. So I do a little bit of everything. So just, pick your
Jack of all
poison.
trades.
Pick your poison. I'm there.
That's awesome. Hunter, what about you? What are you up to?
Just finished. I did Doom Eternal this weekend. Was
So
fantastic.
good. Oh,
Accidentally downloaded Animal Crossing last night and started playing it.
It wasn't an accident. It was destiny.
Accidentally
Yeah.
downloaded Animal Crossing, accidentally started my OnlyFans.
Right, I don't know what happened.
whoops.
Oh, I just started.
You can find me right here every Monday on a show with Lowco, this very show. And she and I both run StreamerSquare together, fortunately, because I would be lost without her in every conceivable way. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/thehunterwild, where I stream at 11 a.m. Pacific, 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday. And I think this week we're going to be doing some community games because of how the isolation is affecting everybody but me. Like, I'm the happiest I've been in a long time. Out of
So
nowhere.
introverted.
I know. And so I want to confer this. I want to bring that out to other people. So we're doing I think we're going to do some very rare, uncommon that I do this multiplayer stuff with the community.
Hey.
Good of
And
you to
what about
step out of
you,
your
Lowco?
bubble.
Yeah, I know, right?
Really throwing a bone to the peasants.
Yeah.
Letting them participate.
Oh my God.
You can find me on twitch.tv/LOWCO. I am currently doing Animal Crossing all the time, 24/7. I'm live right now playing Animal Crossing. I'm also doing Doom. I don't know what I'm doing with my life, so I'm just playing both, and it's a really interesting mix of switching from Animal Crossing to Doom. Oh, it's a lot of fun.
Basic
Very
needs.
similar vibe.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, if you guys like this content, like I said, there's a show that's starting right after this, so don't go anywhere if you want to learn about filing taxes in the US, especially with the recent changes that have happened. There's a lot to sort through, and we have literal professional experts teaching you. Like this is their job, so they're allowed to talk about this. So stay tuned for that, because it's going to be super helpful. Otherwise, we will see you here next week. Same time, same place. Make sure to follow the Twitch channel if you guys want to see more educational content. And we'll see you next time on the stream scene.
StreamerSquare.